a flight until February, and their stock dropped 12%. But meantime, their spaceport is also suffering that they're associated with. There's an update on the Save Swift mission. Environmental groups are challenging FCC approval for light beaming from orbit. ISRO, India, wins the NASA lunar lottery. I'll tell you what that means. Elon Musk details his plans to turn the moon into a major manufacturing hub. People think it's nuts, but don't bet against him. A company called EON, E-O-N, all caps, wants to move the data superhighway from ocean fiber to space lasers. And so that's why we're talking about that. NASA's offering 60 years of lunar data to support future bases and settlements. Poland may cut off Ukraine's Starlink access over a Musk dispute. And what is star washing? Well, it's a lot like greenwashing, and it's just as bad. We'll tell you about it. Critics of the Texas Broadband Office claim that Starlink is getting favoritism from that office. And this is a big news night. There's a whole lot more. And we'll probably include the question, can SpaceX become more valuable than the entire Earth? Yes, Elon actually said that. Stay with us. From the news desk at the Center for Space Commerce and Finance, my name is Thomas Andrew Olson, and this is The Unknown Quantity. And as you know, this program is brought to you by the Center for Space Commerce and Finance. We champion and strengthen emerging space startups and space-adjacent enterprises worldwide through advisory, access, and advocacy. Our legendary pitch events and world-class boot camps fortify startups to be better investor-ready. In addition, this podcast, which has just become a crown jewel of our activities lately, is largely supported by our listeners and fans like you. So if you go to cscf.space/support, click that plain as day donate button. $10, $25, $50, $100 is even. It's not a lot in the grand scheme of things, but it sure makes a big difference for us. And it's U.S. tax deductible. Don't forget to like and subscribe and tell your friends. Tell your friends. Now. Do it now. Speaking of friends, my longest space friend, Michael Lane, who transcended, but was then put into a clinic to detranscend, or he couldn't do the show, is here with us. Michael, come on in, come on back. How is the afterlife, man? How'd that work?
Things are good. Thanks.
Cool.
How's things for you? What's going on?
It's all right. We did Afialto did a fancy dinner the other night with some, and got some investors on the hook. So we're closing that probably early next week. So that keeps the lights on. We're keeping the lights on. We're still keep going. We got a big thing to close, and we're going to get it done. We are going to get it.
Yeah.
We'll begin.
Got a factory to build. One of our news items is kind of right up your alley. I wanted to talk to you about that. Right.
Okay.
Yeah.
Very good.
Things are good here. Our intern is gone. So sad. It's not. He brought down the average age of the company a lot. So now it's a bunch of us crusty old guys. But it's good. Tomorrow might be a pretty interesting day. We got some pushback from Osaka about that big NIDO event that we were going to have next week. Rather than do it when we originally planned for 4 hours, it's going to be 2 hours. Rather than try to accommodate Osaka time and East Coast, West Coast America, and Lagos, Nigeria, and Lisbon, Spain, we're just going to put a 2-hour block on it. It's going to be in the middle of the afternoon America time, and people can chime in when they want to. So a little bit different. But then the plan is we're going to do it kind of a full boat event in every quarter. So we'll do another one in November, and it'll be a little bit more time to plan out a better event, probably.
Okay. Yeah. Is it still Tuesday?
It is still Tuesday. Yes,
it's still Tuesday, but you cut me to 5 minutes.
I cut you and Sean to 5 minutes.
Yes, and I don't even have, I don't even get a script for that. Yeah, back in the old days, we had no money, and now we have some. And on John, he can tell us what's happening with that. John, kind of all I need to do.
Yeah. Well, trust me, it's gonna be a bigger event in November. It'll be back to that 4-hour plan.
I don't know how I could impress anybody with 5 minutes, but especially total strangers. But I'll give it a shot.
Yeah. It's still worthwhile. Seriously. It's a better time zone. It's not 10 o'clock at night for you, which is why
I'll take it seriously. I won't be snarky.
All right, good. Right,
they don't know me.
No, it's gonna be good. I'm kind of excited about it. I understand why Osaka pushed back a little bit, but it's all good. The next one will be we will drive that bus next time. Like right now, we're doing it as a courtesy to these folks, but we think it's important enough that we're going to drive that bus. So, yeah, changes there. So. All right, let's get into the news. What do we want to talk about today?
Okay, well, the first two are really quick because we haven't heard about Virgin Galactic very much lately at all, right? Yep. And I guess they say they want to resume flight, but they were going to do it in fourth quarter of this year, and they just announced that they're delaying the start of that commercial service with this new ship to February. And of course, as a result of that, their shares fell 12% in after-hours trading.
Right.
As part of the quarterly earnings release. So
no surprise there.
Yeah. But interestingly, remember these flights were going to be so cheap for everybody? No, the early flights are oversubscribed at $750,000. And when ticket sales reopen in the fall, there will be even higher price points.
Do you remember that they started out at 200,000 and everybody freaked out when they went to 250,000? Do you remember that?
Right. I remember. Yeah.
So this is a hell of a roller coaster ride.
Yeah.
I really think they should enable point to point, and then they'll have a business. I remain skeptical of this one.
Yeah.
But they've still got nearly $300 million in the checking account. So their cash position remains strong. I'm like, if I had $286 million, I would feel strong about that too.
That's true. And Joe Luttrell's here. Hey, Joe.
Hey, Joe.
But the back-to-back thing is something that's it's really dependent upon Virgin Galactic, which is the spaceport right there in Truth or Consequences, New Mexico. They are Virgin's basically the anchor tenant.
Yeah.
At that place, so whatever happens to them affects the spaceport too. And there is a bit about that. They say they're busier than ever, but they need help with the budget because if the money has been restored after 1 year, we wouldn't have a budget problem. And so they paused flights, in June of 24, and now they're saying spaceport officials said their letter agreement did not have the proper guardrails to protect from Virgin's change in rate. So they've already lost 1.6 mil over a 12-month period. And now they're going to double that to 3.2. So they've got some, they're busy, but they got a lot of shifting around they have to do.
Right. Yeah. We met this guy, Scott McLaughlin, at ISTC last year in Florida. Seemed like a pretty capable guy on the surface, right? So can you imagine walking into that meeting, and this is his quote, "So I hate to come to you and say that we're busier than ever, but I still need help with a budget because if this money had been restored after 1 year, we wouldn't have a budget problem."
Right.
So, yeah, that's got to be kind of awkward. And to say it was a paperwork snafu, like bad language in the contract. I have owned real estate, and that lease document is you live or die by it. So I'm a little skeptical of that last piece.
Yeah. Ask Walt and Carlos about that on the Mirror. Yeah. Lease agreement.
Right. Not everybody listening to this show knows what you're talking about. Do you want to elaborate on that?
Oh, that was back in the Mirror Corps days when Walt Anderson and his buddy Carlos Gardellini and a few other people did a lease to the Mir space station, but it was that, and they actually flew one flight up to it to check it out and make sure it was capable of doing something. Now, but about the same time, the Russians were also committed to building the ISS, and they got politically, rolled over a barrel and kind of conned into saying, well, you need to get rid of the Mir or you won't make your deal, which is actually turned out okay because Walt got even by insisting that his customer Dennis Tito got to fly on the Mir on the ISS, and he won that one.
Yeah.
So, and that's probably what got him in trouble.
Yep.
But it's not tinfoil hat night. I'm not going there.
No, we're not going there.
Only once a year we do that.
All right. Anything else on Spaceport America?
Oh no.
Okay.
Here's another quick one. So there's apparently it's the mission to save the Swift telescope from doom is somehow back on track, even though the Catalyst Link spacecraft had a significant mishap. They seem to have straightened things out a little bit. It's been stabilized, have an issue sent it tumbling, and now it's uploaded a flight software update, and now it's on track to do that. I just wanted to do a very quick catch up on that because it still wasn't sure whether they were going to get it done or not, but apparently they have. Good. So that's that. Now here's a fun one coming up. Environmental groups challenge the FCC approval of a startup's plan to beam on-demand sunlight from space. And of course, the FCC approved only a single test mission, but these environmental groups argue it could pave the way for a much larger constellation in the future. And they're all jumping up and down. So they filed a big petition today asking them to reverse that approval until they could do some more research.
Yeah, Reflect Orbital has been talking about 50,000 satellites in the sky to reflect sunlight down to the ground.
Yeah.
Whatever
could go wrong with that idea?
What could possibly go wrong? And we reported on this a couple of weeks ago when the FCC went ahead and approved it, and their argument was, we don't have the jurisdiction to say whether or not this is a good idea or bad idea. All we have the power to do is approve or deny. And based on the technology, we felt it was a requirement to approve it because that's our mandate. But they didn't go so far as to say, we think it's a great idea. We should have a lot of these. Like, they didn't do that. So,
but they're going to be out there. I mean, these guys, what are they called? You got so many of them. Environment America, Dark Sky International, the American Bird Conservancy, and Public Employees for Environmental Responsibility were all a part of this thing. And they're claiming it's the Wild West out there right now. And they thought the proposal was a uniquely bad idea.
Uniquely bad idea. That's like our phrase, vaguely important.
Yes.
Uniquely bad.
Yeah.
There's a detail.
We should grab that one.
Yeah. Uniquely bad.
Uniquely bad.
I want to add something that I've not ever seen before. There's a detail in this article I've not seen before. I'm just gonna read 2 sentences. Tell me when you think this becomes uniquely bad.
Okay.
According to the FCC's order authorizing the mission, Arendelle, by the way, I really hate that they're copying all the Lord of the Rings stuff and turning it into crazy space things. Arendelle will test whether a satellite can reflect sunlight onto a specific area on Earth at night. The in-space mirror is designed to focus a roughly 3.1 mile wide beam of light onto the ground from an altitude of around 400 miles.
Okay.
A 3-mile wide beam of light.
Right. And they're saying they're comparing it to a helicopter shining a spotlight at you.
Are you fucking kidding me?
That's the next 3 down.
Oh my God.
Yeah, it's like LED lighting, Oh, that's all. Yeah. Safety risk for pilots. Now, maybe they'll get a pass if they, do a press release and make a statement saying, we're only aiming it at North Korea. And watch them scramble and go like that. No, we will fire a missile. You do that. We fire a missile. It's gonna be, and that guy's gonna go nuts.
Oh my God. Yeah. So pretty wild. I'm rooting for the environmentalists on this one. I am.
Yeah.
I you know me, I'm not, I'm building an elevator on the moon. I don't throw people's big crazy ideas under a bus, but I genuinely do not want this one to succeed. I really don't.
Yeah, I'm
don't
not a
think
fan.
It's a good idea.
I'm not a fan. It's
yeah.
Uniquely bad.
Uniquely bad. Oh goodness.
All right.
Hey, I'm gonna have Luttrell weigh in on this for a second.
Okay. He says it's not happening.
Yeah, no, he just went out and did a dark sky tour of the night the other night. He got rained out, clouded over, so it wasn't a great trip for him. But I'm curious what he has to say about 50,000 satellites reflecting a 3-mile wide beam down to the ground. What does our resident Star Watcher have to say about it? So let us know what you think there. All right.
Okay. Now, what's the thing here? Okay. Apparently, ISRO, the Indian Space Agency, won the lotto because NASA officially invited them to participate in a lunar base.
Yay.
Permanent manned station near the lunar South Pole sometime after 2032. They also call it Artemis Base Camp. They intend for it to be the first lunar outpost, and they want ISRO and India to be a part of this. That was a direct invitation. And that is, with all the space agencies in all the world and all the countries, it's like, yeah, that is like winning the jackpot.
I agree. I think this is the new Indian Express. I don't know how big a paper it is, but I think they're right. It's a big deal. It would have been pretty obvious to go with ESA as a partner, but how do you negotiate with ESA all of it, right? So
that's probably why they didn't. We've reported on the bureaucratic stuff that goes on over there for this, and maybe the Indians are watching and going, you know what? Those fellows might have a point.
I would actually really dig it if NASA went to Nigeria and said, would you like to be a partner on the space station, on our lunar base? That, I think the ripple effects of that would be enormous and powerful.
But you have to stop killing Christians.
Well, okay, they use the ISS as a diplomacy tool.
Yep.
More than they used it as a research station.
Absolutely.
So, yeah.
You got to put some strings on it. Not many, but we want to get all that. A lot of people from a lot of places out there. I mean, that's the whole thing for them to do. I have no problem with that. They should do it.
What's India going to do? So India's going to build There's a quote: "The timing could not have been better, as India is nurturing the dreams of sending its first astronauts into space in early 2027 on their indigenous, I can't pronounce this word, Gaganyaan mission." That's the space station that we talked about today.
Gaganyaan, I think it is. Gaganyaan.
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 They're looking to build their own 52-ton space station by 20.
And we did touch on that a little bit, on the last show.
These things go.
They want to put 300 more satellites in the sky, launch people, and do all that. So it's on track. If they start construction on the moon in 2032, they'll already have some stuff in place to be able to, land something and do stuff. So
we, Liftport, would be happy to supply that moon base. I'm just going to say, because we should be in place by then. We should be operational by then.
Absolutely.
So, yep.
Your lips to God's ear, man.
Yep, exactly right.
Okay. Now here's the one. It was the F magazine. It was Fortune, not Forbes, but as an article says, Elon Musk details SpaceX's plan to turn the moon into its newest manufacturing site. And he even leads off with, "I know this sounds totally nuts." As he said I was on their earnings call.
Oh, you were? All right. I wasn't on the earnings call. That's cool.
Yeah, it was on the earnings call. He said this stuff. And so the overview again, I think we also mentioned this. He wants to deploy a robot workforce on the moon to scale up SpaceX's manufacturing capacity.
Yeah.
And of course, people thought he was nuts, and we can't get any more than that because they want you to subscribe to keep reading it.
Yeah. Yep.
They'll buy it today and cancel tomorrow. No, I don't. I just don't want to do that.
Right. There's too many news sources.
Yeah. Like space news. I avoid them completely now because I know what I'm going to get. You get a half a paragraph, and then and who else does that? Reuters does that now.
Yep.
There's a couple other places, and so I'll see a whole string in my feed. I'll see a whole string of space news. No, I'm missing that. I don't care how good it looks. I'm passing that right by.
Right, skipping. Yeah.
We got other stuff. It doesn't matter.
We can talk.
We'll be lucky to finish what we have tonight.
Right. All right. Let's move on. Let's do
that. Okay. There's this company called Eon, E-O-N, and they're and you got to move the bits back and forth when you're a hyperscaler and data center guy, right?
Yeah.
And those cables crisscrossing the oceans, they're obviously tricky to access and repair. So these guys say, let's move all of the data superhighway from the ocean fiber networks that are existing to all space lasers all the time. But
I'm a fan of this, but there's a big hole there. But what were you gonna say?
Okay, they're called EON. It stands for Endeavor Optical Networks.
Yeah,
and they only were founded in May, and they emerged from stealth today with 10.75 million in seed funding from General Catalyst and Andreessen Horowitz. Interestingly,
yep,
and they're betting on the plan. And they want to launch a network of laser-equipped spacecraft to link data centers from orbit and bypass all the fiber cables in the ocean.
Yep. I dig this plan. I genuinely do. It's not a new plan. It's been around for a while. I'm going to just tell you a quick story for a second because we got some time to kill. I went to lunch with Joaquin Gerardo from Silicon Valley Bank the other day, and we've had him on the show, and he's represented, like, he's part of their kind of space portfolio, hard tech portfolio guy. Smart guy, like him. He's pretty nice. And I was complaining that I feel like I'm always in the wrong room whenever I go to VC. I'm always in the wrong room. Like, this is not a VC project. And he looks at me, he's like, no way. You are absolutely a VC project. It's decacorn or nothing. Like that's my phrase, decacorn or nothing. He's like, that's the kind of thing that people want to do, but they don't want to do it in Seattle.
Right. You told me this. There, yeah.
They don't want to do it in Seattle. And so here are these guys at Aon, Endeavor Optical Networks. They're in San Francisco. They're in the right place, and that's what Gallardo said. He's like, Joaquin is like, look, San Francisco, Silicon Valley, LA, they will fund your project. Seattle will not fund your project. So these kids show up, start an idea in May, and $11 million walking out in August with a plan that's an old plan.
Right.
So good for them. Good for them. It's a necessary tech. I think it's very useful.
I wish them all the success in the world for a different reason entirely. Once they're successful and they get all that data to up on the satellites, there's still all those now empty pipelines sitting on the bottom of the ocean. I can pick those up for a song and do my own thing with them. Start a whole new network, a new secure network for, developing countries or something that, and
that's funny. That's not where I thought you were going to go with this. I thought you were going to say that, you would packet swap from Avialto layer to the Sky space layer and back and forth. And
that could also happen.
That's a natural partner for you.
Absolutely. That could always happen. I love those,
and way less risk than picking up spare pipelines. So
right.
I think there's a real opportunity there for Avialto for sure. Yeah. But let's go back to a couple months ago. Dr. Gerritsen, Pete Gerritsen, not Dan, Pete Gerritsen's like, look, there's a good chance the Russians have a nuke on orbit. And if they light that thing off, it's going to burn all of our satellite network into cinders. So now you're putting even more capability up into the sky, which is an even more tempting target for an org that has, let's just say, maybe not the best interests of the world at heart. So
there's a few of those out there. And we haven't even talked about the Klingons yet. They show up and steal that stuff. They go, Kapla! They love shooting shit out of the sky, don't they?
Right. Well, that's Eon. Good luck, Eon. We'll be watching you. I'm hopeful that you guys are able to pull this off. I'm all about laser comm.
Yeah. Speaking of data, NASA has a lot of it.
Yeah.
They've been collecting data about everything on the moon for the last 60 years.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that what they want to they're gonna part it out. They're gonna sell some of it. They're gonna give some of it away. They're gonna be working with a lot of different organizations. They're trying to organize a way to do that helps everybody. And they can combine disparate data from different sensors. It's just a first step, and so they can find out where a lot of the surface resources are, and help other organizations, NGOs, SpaceX or anybody else who wants to go to the moon. With Dr. Doug, we'll find the absolute right place to go to get the kind of stuff that is really on the plate that we want. And so I just thought that was interesting. It just made perfect sense to me when they said it. It's like, oh yeah, of course, my God, they've been, and look at that picture. I mean, that's those are all those different colors. Those are all resources.
Yeah.
And they've been gathering this data for 60 years, and hey, let's use it.
I love this. I'm a little envious. I didn't come up with it myself. Kind of wish that I had. But
sometimes the simplest, most profitable ideas, you don't know about it until it's too late. Oh shit!
Right. But that's really cool.
You did,
Good for them.
Make it
Yeah. I don't. Blair DeWitt. Is that name familiar to you? I feel like I've heard that name before.
Who again?
Blair DeWitt is their CEO.
Oh, no, not to me.
No, not to you. Okay, all right.
Okay, all right.
I feel like that name is familiar, but I can't place it.
Yeah. Well, here's one. Well, again, Starlink's in trouble again. This time you're in trouble with Poland.
Great.
And because Poland's having a beef with Musk, they're going to cut off Starlink's access to Ukraine. I don't know how that fits into the grand scheme of things. And, why would you hurt some folks who are struggling anyway?
Right.
I don't get it.
Yeah.
But they threatened to review their annual spending after the company charged roaming rules for Polish users. So Warsaw is saying, hey, wait a minute. Because they're paying $50 million annually for Starlink services. And I guess Ukrainians are using them too.
Sure.
But they're discriminating Polish users, they think. And Poland was excluded from Starlink's broader European roaming zone.
Huh.
That's vaguely important.
Yeah.
The zone covers more than 30 countries, including Germany, Czechia, Slovakia, and Lithuania.
Right. Yeah,
and those users can move their terminals between participating countries, without additional restrictions. But Poland is not included in that region.
Well, I hope that this post on Twitter, on X, got somebody's attention.
Yeah.
Does seem kind of unfair.
It does. I thought they were having a tiff about something. I'll go into detail and think, whoa, this is serious shit. Holy mother. Yeah. We are not a second-tier country, and we're not second-tier customers.
Right. That's their
a lot.
That's from their Minister of Digital Affairs. Yeah. Yeah. I would be pretty pissed off about that. That's fair. There was a whole thing on black market terminals that the Russians were getting other people's terminals and keeping them turned on. I wonder if it could be that. I wonder if it could be connected to that because Starlink was trying to shut down black market terminals that were going to help the Russians.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't know. I'm just guessing here. On other Starlink news, they're anticipated to get 20 million subscribers by the end of this year. Yeah, pretty.
Well, that's not a lot. 8.3 billion people, but okay.
Yeah. Well, it adds up though.
It does.
No, sorry, I said that wrong. $20 billion in revenue from Starlink.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah.
Just not where Avialto is going.
No, right.
And won't get much revenue from there because we're going to go into Malaysia and into Indonesia and into those countries and charge about 75% less.
Right. Dallas is saying he knows him. Yeah, I thought the name Blair DeWitt was familiar, but I don't think I've ever encountered him. But Moon Village Association. Sure, that makes sense. That's one of the ways you guys would connect because Dallas has been in part of the Moon Village Association since its beginning, I think. All right, cool. Well, I'm going to look this guy up because it looks really interesting and it's a good idea. So
yep.
I want to connect with him. Cool. All right, what is next, sir?
Okay, next. Have you heard of the term greenwashing?
I sent you that article. I'd never heard of it until I sent it to you.
It's a term which describes when companies falsely claim that their practices or products are more environmentally friendly than they really are.
Right.
Or when their green efforts are insignificant compared to their harmful environmental practices. Well, you know what? Now we have something called star washing. And apparently some space companies are using that same playbook while engaging in environmentally damaging practices. And a lot of examples like auto companies that dump cars into oceans, I mean, stuff like that.
Right.
But space companies are now using simple strategies like that, because star washing will appeal to an interest in learning about life's origins, for example, or its place in the universe, the desire for humans to explore places beyond our planet. They position a space-related idea, a product, or policy as for all humankind, even if it could damage the Earth or the larger cosmic environment. That's star washing.
Yeah. I kind of thought this was interesting. I sat down to dinner yesterday with two gals that were 22 and 25, and they fundamentally do not understand this space stuff that I love so much.
Mm-hmm.
And they're like, there's these awful billionaires, they run the show, there's orbital debris. That sounds like a terrible phrase. We don't even understand it, but it sounds awful. Why should we clean up a mess other people caused? And they did. They brought up, you see this plume of rocket fire going up, and you're like, how can that be good for us? Right? Like, I get where they're coming from. And the questions they're asking, because they don't have all the information they need to make an informed decision. They only, they've got the filters on and they only see their world through their lenses. But they are asking those questions.
Yeah. What are the examples? I'm sure you could think of lots of examples, especially Musk, for all the launches he does. Even though, and it was said that just because rockets, they're burnt, usually most rockets burn their fuel so efficiently, you don't see much extra coming out of the plume except water vapor. Mm-hmm. But then water vapor is the largest greenhouse gas of all. CO2 is like this by comparison.
Right.
And so they point to that. But I thought it was interesting when they gave as an example, they pointed to Jeff Bezos, because he's making the same arguments about Blue Origin. But don't look over here at Amazon, which has a carbon footprint larger than dozens of nations.
Right.
Put together.
Right. Sean's in here saying virtue signaling as a weapon. Yeah.
They need to vote.
Our industry needs to tell its story better. We've been saying that for years, you and I. If the only thing you see is Dr. Evil, if that's your only impression of space, is Captain Kirk and Katy Perry going for a roller coaster ride.
Well, this is
that's all you know,
Michael. This is our fault, not just us, but everybody in space advocacy. Mm-hmm. We've been content because of all the money coming in,
right,
to sit back and let Elon Musk and Jeff Bezos tell the story.
Well, they do have bigger marketing budgets than we do.
Yes, they do. But if they're star washing,
we're gonna reach a few thousand people with this show, best case. And when SpaceX or Blue launches, they have 1 million people glued to their screens as it's happening, right? They have the power to change the narrative, but they're not.
Right.
So
we
get these kids that don't understand what it was we're doing. And I tried telling them, space is purple. I described you and I described the tree hugger environmentalists that have been proving climate change is real for decades. And I described the war in Ukraine, about how the Russians were getting their ass kicked because the Ukrainians had better data. Like, that conversation is not getting told to the people that need to hear it. And so I get this star washing, but you don't have to fake the numbers. You could actually say we are a good industry for the world, and here are the facts of it. You don't have to like pretend it's not true or do some sort of obfuscation. Like, star washing is about obfuscation, but we are a net good for the world, and we should be able to tell our story better.
Yep, I do that. I try to eschew obfuscation as much as I can.
Yeah.
That was a bumper sticker in the 70s. Nobody knew what it meant. All right. Moving on. This is another quick one. Apparently, the state of Texas has a broadband office.
Oh.
And they have been accused of favoritism towards Starlink.
Yeah, that's probably a fair. That's probably a fair
Starlink.
They moved to Texas in the first place. There had to be some sort of like handshake deals about doing that, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So that sounds on par.
In response, however, to the criticisms, they halted all disbursements.
Oh, surprise!
And so there is a hold right now of disbursements of billions of dollars in federal funds related to the Broadband Equity Access and Deployment Program. And that hold came after the office was accused of favoritism. So the hold will be effective as of Monday and will be in place until further notice.
Oof.
And so no further actions required from sub-grantees this time. They're just going to look at everything and then provide additional guidance later.
All right.
But $3 billion in BEAD funding was already dispersed. So there's a lot of money coming in for this.
Yeah, I mean reading into this, right? Other providers were expected to receive 10% of the grant money to start, with the rest dispersed on a tiered system. The rules were changed for low Earth orbit satellite providers. Well, that sounds like favoritism to me.
Yep. Oops.
So they're going to stop the payments to the people who still depend upon it, but the payment that came in early, they've already gotten money. If that's how I'm reading this.
Yep. And so
Starlink has already gotten paid
for it back.
Too bad.
Yeah.
That.
Okay, this next one I put up there not so much because of Rocket Lab, but because it reminded me of somebody that we know from the past. Okay, Rocket Lab has unveiled a new, what they call a GHOST portable spaceport system to make them deployable worldwide. And their quote is, launching anywhere, anytime, and without compromise, and maybe without people knowing. I don't know, because a long time ago, I think you've met him too. His name was Pat Bond. He's been around forever. He runs the company still. He gets mostly government contracts. He just goes to the trough. But it's called TGV Rockets, the name of his company. Yeah. And the letters TGV meant two guys and a van. Let's have someone in some other, weird kind of angry country get a hold of one of those capabilities somehow. And here we are again. We're doing it again, like it's never been seen before.
Huh.
Packaged entirely within shipping containers. And they'll deploy complete rockets, launch infrastructure, ground support, and range control systems out of a shipping container.
Where is
now it's four guys in a shipping container.
Yeah, right. TVG, four guys in a shipping container. Where's the Pacific Spaceport Complex?
Well,
oh, it's Alaska. Okay.
It's that Alaska thing. That's what I thought.
Okay.
It's
All right.
Alaska.
Okay. All right.
That's where they got a deal to launch 18 suborbitals or something.
Yeah.
From the Space Force. Yeah, as Sean says, loaded up in the back of a semi-flatbed. You're off and running.
I talked to Tom Murata, and spoiler, he's going to be on the show in a couple days.
Next Thursday, a week from today, Tom Murata.
Yeah. Their launch at sea program, I don't want to say sea launch because that's a different animal, but their launch on the boat program is really making some progress. And Lockheed just announced that they were going to partner with somebody on a different launch at sea platform. So, this thing that we've been talking about for a while about all of these launch facilities getting just, packed to the gills. The spillover is that they're going to have to build either new spaceport capabilities or launch in the ocean. So, Yep.
Well, since 70% of the world is covered by ocean,
right,
we should have no problem with that,
right? Netflix has a terrible B movie that they just released the other day, and the premise is something interesting happens from the ocean, and I'm not gonna spoil it, but that 80% line was in the Netflix.
Yeah.
I think it's called The Last House. It was marginally entertaining. I like disaster movies. There's 2 disaster movies in a row, both set in the Seattle area in the woods. So it was pretty funny.
Yeah, there you go.
Dallas is like Blue Origin is putting up 2 pads on KSC. Yep. All right. Launch anywhere, anytime without compromise.
Yeah. And so this next one, I was hoping our buddy Wes would be here or somebody, because the next one is it's just an op-ed called "What History Can Teach Us About the Future of Property Rights in Space." So,
yep.
And it's this guy named Rainer Zeidelman who wrote this. He has doctorates in history and sociology. And so he kind of goes over the outer space treaty stuff, and then but he states boldly right in the first opening paragraph, if SpaceX begins building permanent settlements on Mars, and ownership of some red planet land should initially belong to the company.
Preach, brother, preach.
Not everybody's saying it that boldly and right up front, the first article. So, good for him.
Is Wes on this call? He didn't respond.
No, I was hoping he would be.
All right, I'm going to just take over the screen. Sean, I'm going to take over the screen for a second. I got Wes's white paper here. I'm going to go fast enough so nobody can actually read it. But I've got Wes's was an 8-page white paper that he is starting to circulate, and it's pretty goddamn good. I'm not going to give people a chance to read it, so I'm going to stop sharing. But was I not sharing? I thought it was. Hold on. Am I sharing or not sharing? I'm not sharing it.
Well, I just saw it up there, but
okay.
Now you're sharing your screen, which looks pretty much like mine.
Right. Yeah, stop. So yeah, Wes is working on the white paper. I can say it because I'm going to publish it. Wes is working on a white paper that puts down his position on property rights. He's looking for signatories and people who want to jump in and kind of get on that same bandwagon. So
Right.
really cool to see that article. I did not know that was going to be in your newsfeed today.
Here's an interesting part, and he was quoting another guy who wrote a book on the history of the American West, but and he thinks space could be the same way. America was filling up with immigrants who settled boundaries, plowed fields, built homes, transferred land, and established credit long before governments conferred on them any right to engage in those acts. Those are the days of the pioneers in the Wild West. And one of the reasons the wild is that those pioneers, most of them nothing but squatters, insisted that their labor, not formal paper titles or arbitrary boundary lines, gave land value and established ownership. They believed that they occupied the land and improved it with houses and farms. It was theirs. So mixing one's labor with the land, it is a legal concept and a political, philosophical concept going back centuries.
That is how John the Appleseed came onto the scene. Yep. That's how claim jumping as an idea would get you murdered. Because the first claims in the American West, I can't speak for other places, but the first claims in the American West were based on 4 stakes in the ground and the ability to defend it.
Yep.
Right. And then Dallas is like the Homestead Act. Yay. Right. Exactly. But is that rationale going to translate to Europe and Asia, Africa, South America? I don't know. I don't know if we believe it. We can see the argument of it. But is that going to translate to the rest of the world?
Yeah. Well, I understand. I mean, Dallas talks about the Homestead Act, and that was a great thing, and it went on and on and on until, interestingly, it was Jimmy Carter who shut it down during his term, because the last big place where the Homestead Act was really working was in Alaska, and that went away on his watch.
Oh, I did not know that.
Interesting. They were talking about reviving it, but it hasn't happened yet.
Wow, that would have some obstacles reviving.
Yeah. That. Well, when you're old and you actually remember history, it's kind of really important.
Well, I was going to mention Australia. Dallas is talking about Australia too. Right? That stake in the ground, man. That is, and it's the gold rush. I don't know the show you're talking about, but it's the gold rush that's established that as a norm in the Pacific Northwest. Going up to Alaska or down south to California. That's how we claimed it. My family has been in the Pacific Northwest since before World War I. I don't know the exact date, but my grandmother was on a wagon train that was following the train construction crew.
Okay.
So there were trains, but she was in the wagon train with the construction crew. Yeah. So we've been here for a long time. And
I had a distant relative who actually was on another wagon train who actually went through the area near Sutter's Mill on the way up to Oregon. Wow. But it was a year earlier. And he wrote it in his journal. We found a couple of nuggets just laying around here, but we want to get settled in Southern Oregon first and then come back next year to see if we could do something. Now, obviously he never did.
Right. But, he'd be a land baron if that was a different story.
Yeah. I've got at least one great grandfather who is buried just north of Salem.
Wow. Yeah.
So yeah.
All right, we got 5 more minutes. What do you want to end on?
Okay. Let's have some fun. Let's skip. I think it's closer to the end. We got a lot of it covered. That was pretty good. Yep. Okay. There's this other thing. It's near the end. How do you value the assets of about 8.3 billion people and a livable planet that is now 4.5 billion years old, give or take 50 million years? Well, the question came up in a Elon Musk tweet on July 9. He said, SpaceX will be worth more than the rest of Earth if we accomplish our goals. Because the key there is that little word if.
Yeah.
That sounds like a big if to me. So, I mean, and the guy says, I like the fact that he wants to turn humanity into an interplanetary species. He's taken fiction and the science fiction and want to build cities on the moon and Mars. And that's fine and dandy, but I think it will take a few years, maybe decades, and share prices are about discounting future cash flows.
That is precisely the theme of a post I wrote a couple days ago on LinkedIn, that when that guy decides to turn all of his resources towards Mars, there's kind of nothing that can stop him. And with a billion shares on the line, he stands to make $1 trillion at now prices, right? At now prices.
At now prices. What he says, here's the thing, gets me. I'm trying to figure out what's going on in his head, right?
Yeah.
And so he's saying it's going to be, SpaceX going to be worth more than the Earth.
Right.
What is he talking about?
That's very
realistic. The most realistic is he's referring to the gross domestic product of planet Earth.
Right.
And his company will be producing more than that.
Yes.
That's the only way it even sounds remotely plausible to me. Because when you look at all the undeveloped resources on the planet Earth, which probably numbers in the quadrillions and would take millennia to develop,
right? Yeah.
You know, there's it's not going to happen. There's no way.
No. But you add up the $32 trillion U.S. economy and the $26 trillion Japanese economy and all Europe and Asia and blah blah blah, everything all together. Like that, I think the number is $107 trillion. I don't know.
But the global economy is
the whole global economy is
right.
So all right,
SpaceX would be bigger than that.
Fast forward 100 years, and Mars is a thing, and the moon is a thing, and water from Enceladus is a thing, and we're considering going to another star, and the asteroid mining is a thing. Because the Earth is a closed loop system, and now we're spreading out to all the other things. Like the math is sound if you have that vision. I'm not sitting here trying to defend the guy. You know where I stand there, but his but that vision. I mean, hell, that's why we got into space in the first place. He just put a number on it.
There's also something that really put some fear in me a little bit. This goes again, history.
History.
The leveraged ETF community has noticed keen investor interest in SpaceX and has listed 5 2x leveraged bullish single stock ETFs on the company. Now,
I don't know what that means.
Exchange traded fund.
Okay. Yep.
And there's 5 of them that are 2x leveraged single stock ETFs. So it means they only own SpaceX stock.
Yep.
Now, he says, I find the idea of single stock 2x exchange traded funds absurd. And what type of fund would only hold, one stock?
Right.
Now, history. I remember a company that did this and the people that were behind it. Enron.
Oh, no.
Exchange traded ETFs based on one stock that they did worse thing. They sold it as their retirement plan to their own employees.
Jesus, I forgot that. Yeah.
That's the other side of these arguments.
Well, I think SpaceX is going to be fine. I'm not ready to bet on how soon the solar system economy will be bigger than the Earth's economy, but the math pencils if you're patient. Right. This is like King and Queen of Spain. It's like, the math works if we let this guy Columbus just head out east for a little while. The math works if we're patient. That's what it is. That's what he's talking about. The math works if we're patient.
And 100 years later, Spain had the first ever recorded case of gold inflation
Yeah, right.
in their economy. They brought back so much of it.
Right. Yep.
Those few galleons that sank along the way didn't put a dent in what they did.
Nope. Yes, you're right. Portugal was definitely a part of that.
Absolutely.
Yes. Yeah. Okay. That's it. We're at time.
That's it. That's the news. That's the news tonight. It sounds like Dan Rather now, but okay. On Monday, we may have another news night. We may have a surprise guest. We're reaching out to him now, and so otherwise we'll have our news, a surprise guest, hard-hitting commentary, and sprinkle with the occasional tomfoolery. And so we will be here on Monday. We'll see you then from the news desk at the Center for Space Commerce and Finance. For Michael Lane and Sean Key, I remain Thomas Andrew Olson. Keep watching the skies.